Hi, everybody. How are you? This is Jeanette from Boricua Sewing and Crafts. I am really excited that, this embroidery happy hour. Oh, sorry. Let me turn that off. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm really excited about this happy embroidery happy hour, and I'm gonna tell you why. A couple of weeks ago I did a video on like a buyer beware on different machines, right? And you guys know that I have a single needle machine and I also have a multi-needle machine, and I was talking a lot about I would like to get a second multi-needle machine. Well, one of our viewers, okay, also has a multi-needle machine, and she brought up she did a video of her own, and she had so many great points, and I was just like really taken back, and I was like, wow. I was like, there's so many things that she brought out that I didn't even think about. So I reached out to her and I asked her if she would mind if she could join me tonight so that we can have a discussion about our single needle machines and also the multi-needle machines. And if you guys haven't saw last week, she is actually the young lady that created this mask for me, okay? She makes these beautiful masks. I mean, they're gorgeous. So her name is Harmony, and I'm going to add her now to the stream. And right now I'm using something new. I'm using something called StreamYard. So I'm like starting to get fancy with all this live stuff. So I'm kind of excited because it's the first time I'm using, I think it's StreamYard or YardStream. You guys know what I mean. I always mix up everything, okay? So I'm going to add Harmony on now. And let's see. Hey, Harmony.
Hi, guys.
How you doing? I'm doing good. But listen, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there for all you guys watching, okay? Me and Harmony are in no way, we did not graduate from any embroidery university, okay? We don't have embroidery degrees. We're just two folks that love to embroider, right?
Yep.
We love to embroider, and we just want to like share our views about the machines, how we use them, how we like working with them, and all that stuff. So Harmony, introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Harmony. I'm sure some of you have seen me around in the chats and Facebook, maybe some of my videos. I'm nervous, guys, so go easy on me. This is my first live. Jeanette convinced me, so
I pushed her.
Yes. Well, not you didn't have to push so hard, but yeah, she did.
But I have to admit though, for someone who has not been embroidering for a very long time, I mean, you have really excelled the craft. I mean, you really have. Because when you sent me my face mask, I mean, Harmony, it's gorgeous. And it's I don't let people touch it, I mean, this is my mask. So it's like, I mean, it's beautiful. And I even saw the metallic thread that you put on here. And the last time that we spoke, I remember you told me get metallic thread.
Yeah. So
guess what? I got it today.
Did you? What kind is that? What brand?
This is the new brother thread, and I'm gonna open it up. And one of the things that I liked about this kit, well, let me see a camera. Camera's kind of different here. Look, it came with a card on how to use it.
Okay.
It gave me a card and it gave me some nets. Okay. And it has all these beautiful colors in here. I'm gonna pull them all out. I have the green. Okay. I have like a silver, and then I think I got another silver. I got pink. The yellow.
Those are pretty.
Yeah, they're really cute. The red.
They came in there.
I got 2, 4, 6, 8, I think 9. I think I got 9, and I have one that has a different colors.
Right, yeah.
So I'm gonna
if you have any problems with that, you need to do a video of you attempting to use metallic thread for the first time. There's a learning curve to that too, but you'll get it. You'll get it for sure.
Okay, now one of the things that it says on this card says that I have to have a different needle, and it's saying to use a 9014. A 9014. So I did order some, and they should come in tomorrow.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna do that, guys. I'm gonna film me using this for the first time to see how it goes.
Okay. So if you have problems with that metallic thread, I've used a few. I don't remember if I have that one that I've used. Remember the last time I showed you all the ones I used and they're kind of just sitting up there? Well, I discovered one called Kingstar from the brand Kingstar, and you can get it from EMB store or from all brands. And that one actually is pretty good. It doesn't break as much. You could run it at, you don't have to, when you work with metallics, you have to slow your machine down. Metallic threads are very sensitive. Yeah. So with the Kingstar, sometimes I can run my machine, like sometimes I forget to turn it down, and it'll be at 900 or 950 and it'll keep going, which is impressive. But it's a really good metallic thread. It helps ease that learning curve. So if you start having problems with that one, I might look into Kingstar. And it also might depend on your machine, because some machines like certain threads and some don't. So I might be recommending Kingstar, and then your machine doesn't even like Kingstar. So, but
to use the metallic thread on your single needle, or you've used it on both, on your single needle and your multi needle?
On both, yeah. I didn't have Kingstar though when I used my single needle. I just went ahead and used whatever I had, and I mean, you can still do it. Definitely, it still works, but it's the same concept, And the single needles usually go a little bit slower speed anyway. So my brother SE600 goes a little bit slower, so it wasn't a big issue, but they're still sensitive.
Yeah. Well, this one does say to turn it down. It says to make sure that you go no more than 600.
Okay.
Per minute. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this metallic thread on the SE1900, because I know a lot of our viewers, they're just starting out. Right. Learning embroidery. So a lot of them either have the I think it's the 4x4 machine, or they have a 5x7. So I'm gonna try to do it on the small machine first, and then if I'm successful and I'm not pissed off and everything,
it can get, just expect it. It's not you, it's the thread. It's sensitive to work with. So sometimes you have to be a little patient. You see, I like my little, oops, the wrong way. I like my little bling. This is gold metallic here. So, I gotta have it. I'll put up with that frustration. So
I have to admit, I mean, the first person that I think posted on our Facebook page about metallic thread, if I remember correctly, was probably Miss Miles. And I don't know if Miss Miles is on the chat. She's usually on every evening, every Friday, but I don't see her. But she had first tried it. And I was kind of like, no, I'm not going to try it. I'm not going to try it yet. But I will say, just looking at it out of the box and seeing how shiny it is, I mean, it is beautiful. It's very beautiful.
It definitely adds the little spark you're looking for.
And we love our bling,
We do. Yes, we do.
We love our bling and stuff like that. So it's so when I had did the video on the buyer beware, right? I was looking at the different multi-needles and stuff. And one of the things that I noticed, when I had first went to buy my multi-needle, I will say there was somebody that had asked me, do you regret buying your brother 6-needle machine? Now, I'm going to give the honest answer. Yes, I do. I regret it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because at the time that I had bought that machine, I know that I made the right decision at that time with the information that I had, okay? Which unfortunately, it was it wasn't much information that I had. I went to the sewing shop and they had, you know, a 10 needle and then they had the 6 needle. And when I asked the lady the difference, I knew it was a $5,000 difference because these multi-needle machines are very, very expensive. This is not cheap stuff. But she couldn't explain very well about what am I paying an extra $5,000 for. I knew I was getting 4 more needles, but I didn't understand. She didn't explain very good the capability. So to me, I just kind of looked at it as, okay, I'm going to pay an extra $5,000 for just 4 more needles, you know, and I'm kind of like, and I don't even know, you know, if the multi-needle might be for me. So I was like, I don't want to go in debt, you know? So I was just like, okay, just give me the 6, you know? This 6, I will say it works fine. You know, it's a good machine. Don't get me wrong. And I'm pretty attached to it because it's my first multi-needle machine. But the thing is, there are so many out there. And then the more you look, the more you find that every particular embroidery machine that you look at have a whole different type of capability. Some scan, some have laser, you know, some have different
cameras.
Yeah, speed is another one. And this weekend, well, not this weekend, the weekend hasn't started yet. But on Friday, I went to go see a lady that she has a sewing shop at the mall nearby because she has some customers that ask for embroidery on some of her items, and she doesn't know how to embroider. So she was asking me if, you know, if we could cut a deal where I can just, you know, do embroidery for her, which of course I'll help her, you know. But when I was talking to her, she mentioned there was another shop around the corner and they were doing baseball hats. And when I said, oh, and then she said, they have an embroidery machine right there. So I ran over there because I thought, am I going to see the Melco? Am I going to see a Racoma? You know, I was thinking that was my whole thing with that video the last time was you hear about these machines, right? These commercial machines, but you can't see. It's like unless you know someone who has it, you can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't be there to actually see it run, right?
Right.
When I brought my brother, I went to the sewing shop, but the thing is, brothers are kind of really sold by these sewing shops, right? Melco and all these other companies don't really go to these sewing shops and say, hey, you know, can I put a model here so that your customers can come and take a look at it and see if you want to buy it? It's kind of like you kind of have to like go out there and see if you could find someone that can own one so that you can actually take a look at it and see it run, right?
They usually sell to corporations, like big businesses now. So now you have like regular, just average customers like us starting to get interested in that market. So you have those companies now, little by little, maybe starting to cater to the single, you know, consumer now. But yeah, usually it's probably why you don't see them unless they have like these conventions and stuff where you see a whole bunch of machines, commercial embroidery machines.
Yeah, but you know, and then it was so funny because then when I got to the store, they had an embroidery machine. It was not a Racoma. It was not a Melco. It wasn't a brother. It was it wasn't the one that John Deere uses, which is, I think it's ASK, something like that.
ASK,
yeah. Well, it wasn't that. It was a whole totally different brand. So I was like, oh, great. So another one, you know, that we have to like research. This is something that we want to do. So I was just like, okay. So when I left there, all I kept thinking was they have so many machines out there in the market that if someone like me and you wanted to buy it, it really makes the decision difficult.
It does. There's so many different options. So it takes a while to sit down and kind of go through all of them, weigh, compare, contrast. You know, there are a lot of options out there.
Yeah. And, you know, I do want to upgrade. I mean, I have the 6 needle. I know I do want to upgrade. And, you know, I'm still like, which one, you know?
Right.
And stuff. But, you know, I started with the SC1900, which is a single needle. And I know you started with, I think, was it a 4x4?
With the SC600, my little baby.
Do you still have it, or?
Yes, I'm like, you're attached to your little machine. I'm attached to my little SE600. I mainly use it for sewing now.
Mhm.
I mean, ever since I went back, I got my Nena, which is my Melco. I have not used the SE600 for embroidery just because, I mean, the hooping, everything is just so much easier on the big machine. So, but I use it for sewing all the time though, because it's a sewing and a embroidery machine.
Now, one of the things that I do still use my single needle a lot, I do use it, but I like to float my items.
Okay.
I always like to float them. And one of the things that I really love about using the single needle is for my dinner napkins, because usually my dinner napkins is just a design with the initial. So I get to float it, and then I'll just have the small machine, the single needle working on all my dinner napkins. And then I have the multi-needle for all of my bags and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So
Heavy duty work.
yeah, and stuff. But I wanted to ask you also, like, when you were looking at the multi-needle machines, how did you come about your decision? Like, what did you do? Like,
You see, like you said, I'm really brand new into embroidery. So I'm in a few groups. I got into a bunch of embroidery groups so I can learn a bunch of things. Like your group was one of them. I'm in multiple embroidery groups. I subscribe to a bunch of YouTubers that are into embroidery so I can get a whole bunch of information. And when I first started looking for more needles, I wasn't exactly sure what I was looking for. But I started again, like there was a Janome, I think it has like 5 needles. It was about $5,000. But then just being in the groups, then I started looking at the 10. I would look at the Valiant, the Baby Lock Valiant, and I think it's about like 11,000, just depending on where you get it from. So then why I got into commercial embroidery machines was just because the price. So the price was just almost the same as the Valiant, the Melco, when I first started looking, and I was just like, okay, so if they're the same price, and I get this big old commercial machine that's metal parts and that's has a warranty, a good warranty on it.
yeah.
I just started looking, like, let me see, the best bang for your buck really is what I was looking at. And the warranty, the customer support, which is really good, I have to say, still.
Oh, that's
I'm sorry?
that's good to hear that their support is really good, because that's one of the big concerns that I have.
No, yeah, their support is really good. Even like we have our design shop is the software, the editing software for Melco. So they just updated the design shop 10 to 11. So I'm on the light, which is what comes with the machine. You don't pay anything extra. So they just updated that. So they sent us the update, like you can upgrade your software for free. So, I mean, I have the guy who sold me the machine, I have his cell phone number, so I can call him. Like, I don't really call him unless I have a problem, but it kind of feels like you're still kind of like in the circle of the Melco group, like with the company. So I do like that part. One of the important things that I did look at was like the buyback and the trade. If you look, it's gonna vary just depending on some companies, but if you're, say, down the line, you want to maybe trade in your machine, you want something different, whatever, you're not into embroidery anymore. Some companies that do trade or buybacks, there are some machines that they just will flat out not buy or trade. So that was one of the things that I kind of looked around. I called around a little bit to see if they do that. So that eliminated some machines. One specific one that I was looking at off the list. Ricoma. I don't want to. There's a lot of people that have Ricoma that are very happy with Ricoma, and that's but I do see that there are a lot of companies who won't buy or trade with you if you have a Ricoma. So that one pretty much.
And what really got me with the Ricoma was when I did the buyer wear harmony. I went on the Better Business Bureau, right? And they are on there of people with complaints. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, so that kind of like took it off my list too, because to me, I look at it like if people go to the Better Business Bureau
Right.
to complain, that means that they are frustrated to a certain level
Oh, yes.
that it's like they're like done. You know, like I'm done with this. I'm not getting the support I need. I need to go to the big guys to try to get some help. So if I see that people have to get to that level, to me, I'm like, that's not the machine that I want at all. Because it's important for me to make sure that I get the support I need, especially when you have a business.
Exactly. Yes. No, and I actually talked to I know maybe a lot of, do you know who Henry Ma is?
No.
He's actually like, if you go to Rycoma's like YouTube channel, he's the lead, like the face of Rycoma, and he's a sales guy too. So I actually did speak to him, and one of the reasons I didn't go with Rycoma, this was before I went more in depth with research, is the price he offered me for his 15 needle was quite a bit higher than the Melco. And I was just like, yeah, it was. So I was just like, like right off the bat, it was 14, a little bit over 14. And the price I got offered right off the bat, like before negotiation, was 12.7 for the Melco. So I was just like, oh yeah, like no, so really at the end of the day, for everything that I was looking for, I think that Melco was a pretty good bang for your buck. So yeah, and they're local also. That was another thing I like. Some people, you may not need it to be local, but if you have a problem and your machine needs servicing that you can't do, they can get somebody out there to you, and they'll make arrangements for that too.
See, that's what's going to be important to me too, because these machines are pretty big. They're not light.
Yes, well, they're hundreds of pounds. Yeah, like all the maintenance. This may not be something for everybody if you're going into commercial embroidery, but I don't know of any machine. Well, and I could be ignorant of this information, but most machines, embroidery commercial machines, you're going to have to service yourself, like your regular maintenance. And it's a pain in the butt. But with Melco, they actually do show you on your computer, and then if you don't understand the pictures on the computer, then they have a YouTube video or web page where they actually show you how to maintenance it. So if that's something that you guys like, that you're not into, or you're not mechanically inclined, which I don't think you really have to be, that's something to consider. If you don't want to service your own machine, then I would say the commercial machine probably wouldn't be for you. The
brother that I have, you do have to take it into the shop.
Right.
Which to me, I do find it a little inconvenience. Like right now, I have to take it in. But I have, for some reason, it's like when I called the shop to tell them I was going to take it, they were not answering their phone. So I was like, okay, so I guess it's not going this week, So I was kind of like, okay. So, but the thing is, I have to unscrew it off the stand. And then I got to, work with Fred and Carlito to lug the baby downstairs into my car, and then I have to drive it over there. So to me, I'm kind of like, okay, the next machine that I have, I don't want to have to do that. I don't mind if I can learn really well to service the machine myself, I can do it.
And they because the pictures, like when it comes to like monthly and annual maintenance, I forget the whole process. Even the pictures aren't good enough. So I just come, and the guy, the technician, his name is Nate, the one who shows you how to do it on YouTube. And he'll walk every like piece of the maintenance, he'll walk you through and show you, and I'll pause it and I'll go do it. And then, I come back and play it again. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Like, I'll go back and, they actually do show you how to do it. And I find like when you start doing that, you get a little more comfortable with your machine. When you have a problem, you just start kind of taking stuff off, because now you kind of know how the pieces are working a little bit.
Right.
So, yeah, you can start to maintenance your own machine little by, I'm not saying like big old repairs, but basic things,
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things too that I do tell a lot of people that are new in embroidery, no matter what machine you have, when you first have your machine, whether it's the single needle, like what you have, the SC6 600 or the 1900, or even a multi-needle, there's always going to be a learning curve.
Oh, yes.
It's a brand new machine. There's a lot of buttons on the machine. It's going to take time for you to get used to knowing what button does what. And it's kind of like driving a new car, you know, in a way, you know, like you get a new car, you know, you got the new car smell, you know, you hope nobody farts in it so that will go away, you know. Okay, so it's like, and you know, it's like you're driving and then sometimes you don't know what buttons what and stuff like that because you just got the car, right? So you're learning everything. So the sewing machine is the same way. It's like you don't know what's what yet until you get used to it, and then the more you start using it, the more you start learning. Because I do see a lot of people like on our Facebook group, they'll post, "Oh, I just got the machine," but of course, you know, they have some you know, some problems with the needle breaking, the tension, you know, the white thread showing up on the top. And I know a lot of it is just that learning curve. They just got the machine. They don't understand the machine yet, but as time goes on, you know they're going to get better and they're really, really going to do well. So, you know, it's like, you know, it's like anything. When you get the multi-needle machine, I know it's the same way too, because I remember when I first saw the multi-needle machine, I was like, this is a monster.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you feel like overwhelmed, like, oh my God, how the
Oh, yes. It's very overwhelming. When I mean, you don't see that in the behind the scenes stuff, or a lot of people don't tell you that. I didn't really see too many videos about the learning curve on YouTube. So when I was having so many problems, and the thing is, I didn't have to have those problems because they do offer training, but I'm like, oh, like I'll figure things out. Like that's my attitude, you know, and I'm stubborn. So I suffered with that learning curve, and I'm still learning. Like it's not, you know, like I know everything, or, you know, I'm still learning. But yeah, no, I just thought a lot of times like that I broke the whole machine. I was just like, oh my God, like I just broke my machine. I paid all this money, you know, but
I did the same.
it's like the smallest issue. So like if you get a commercial machine, don't be so hard on yourself. You know, if you don't figure things out or you don't know it right away, I mean, that's a given.
Yeah, and even with the single needle, because I see it all the time too on the Facebook. They're like, I just got the machine, now it's broken, or you know, it's not working, my design is all off and stuff like that. You know, I mean, I you know, we all do it because it's just a learning curve, you know. But as you do it more, you start understanding the machine, you start understanding designs, about density, you start learning about stabilizers, you start learning about different types of thread. You know what thread works for you, what needles work for you. It's all a learning curve. It all is.
So many factors into diagnosing like what could be wrong, you know? So you gotta like troubleshoot through everything, and a process of elimination and everything. So embroidery is no joke.
And sometimes you'll mess with the machine so much that you fix it and you don't even know what the hell you did to fix it. Then you're like, okay, all I know is it works now. So I'm like, whatever. It'll, you know, it works and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you know, having, you know, my whole journey though, I mean, I will say, I think that's the reason why I started the YouTube channel with the SC1900, is because when I got the machine, and I got it like 2 years ago, there were like no videos out there on the Brother SC1900. Now you saw it on the 800, the P800, which is similar. If you really think about it, it's the same machine as the SC1900. But the videos that I saw didn't go in detail on the functions of the machine. You know, like telling people, hey, this button does this button does that. And this is, you know, and I just started doing videos on the feet, the sewing feet.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And I'm really glad I do that, because sometimes some of the folks in the Facebook group, they actually push me to do these videos because they're like, hey, what is this for? What is that for? And I'll just take out the manual and go, gee, I don't know, but let's find out.
Find out together.
Yeah, we'll figure this out together then, you know, we'll find out, you know. So, you know, I mean, I've been having lots of fun with the machine. I do have to start exploring more on the big needle machine because, you know, I figured if there are people out there that are interested in getting the 6 needle machine that I have, I can probably help them out too.
Right.
And stuff. And, you know, because some people, I remember I had to figure out how to thread it. I didn't understand about the tension on a multi-needle machine. It's very different from a single needle machine.
Oh, very different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very different. And then you have so many needles. And that's the other thing too. When I first got in embroidery, nobody talked to you about the cost of embroidery. I mean,
all the supplies after you already spend all that money on the machine itself, everything else, those mighty hoops, like, oh my God, that station that you have. I haven't bought that station, but
for you guys that don't know what a mighty hoop is, these are the ones that I use. These are mighty hoops. These are for the multi-needle. There you go. See? And I'm going to tell you something. These things are expensive.
They are expensive, but they, like, I couldn't see myself doing embroidery without them. Like, yes, I don't even want to use another standard hoop unless I have to. Like,
I don't even use the hoops that came with the machine.
Yeah,
they're there, but I don't use them. It's
right. No.
This is what I use all the time. I mean,
the hype about the mighty hoops for me is real. I mean, you know, they really make your life much easier. I mean, it's just quicker. It's just they do.
And you know, and I will say this: quality counts.
Yes,
quality counts. So a lot of times, like some people, they ask me the single needle. They do stitch good. But when you go to a multi-needle machine, the stitches are better. Yes. I mean, you can tell the quality difference it is. Now, yes. I'm not saying that, you know, you can't run a business off a single needle, because I know a lot of people that started their business with the single needle and have maintained their business with the single needle for a long time. You know, some people have even started with a 4x4 or 5x7. And then I did a video that on the machine that I have, you can even go 5x12. You can use a reposition hoop. So you know you can make money off the single needles.
I made a lot of money off my single needle. That's why I jumped kind of just into the multi needle.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, well, you know, I made a lot of money during the pandemic with sewing on masks.
That's how it started.
Yeah. It started for a lot of people. They were just like, you know, oh my God, like we're stuck at home. So it's like, you know, and I got a feeling too that there's a lot of us don't even want to go back to work. I think someone on Facebook posted that on our Facebook group.
Yes, and I commented.
Yeah. I don't think any of us want. I think we just want to hang out with the embroidery machines. That's all we want to do.
You're like, now you're doing things that you want to do, like your passions in life. So now you just want to do what you want to do. I mean, you go work for someone else, and you know.
Exactly. But I'm going to retire in 2026, so then I'll be able to do this full time. So we'll see how this goes and stuff. So I am going to look at that agenda that we wrote, because I want to make sure we try to cover the stuff. And guys, I want you guys to know I'm going to be looking at the chat. If you guys have questions about single needle or needle, ask away, and me and Harmony will try to answer any questions you have. You know, she has a Melco. I have the Brother PR670E, which is a 6 needle. She has the SC600, and I have the SC1900. So you guys can ask away any questions, because, you know, like Harmony did a video on her Melco, and then I did the buyer beware. And, you know, the whole objective that me and Harmony just wanted to do was to try to give you guys as much information as possible about our views on, you know, our machines. So that way, if you guys want to, you know, ever upgrade or stuff like that, you guys make the best decision for you.
Right. Okay? It's confusing. It's overwhelming. So hopefully we can ease that a little bit.
Yes.
For you guys.
Yep. Because, I mean, you know, it's a lot of money. If you want to make that jump, it's a lot of money. And then also think about this also. If one decision, just because somebody made a decision doesn't necessarily mean it's the right decision for you either. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at your own situation. Think about, you know, where you want to go with the craft. If you want to go as a business, try to think, you know, what machine is going to help you to fulfill you meeting that goal. You know, what functionality, like let's say, you know, if you just really want to embroider baseball hats and all that kind of stuff, you're going to want to really get into a machine that really does baseball hats really well. If you want to do shirts, bags and stuff like that, think about that when you're thinking about investing into a bigger machine, because you want to make sure that you're getting a machine that, and I think Harney, you mentioned that you want a machine that's going to grow with your business.
Right. Yeah. That's why I got the Melco, you know, because obviously I was only doing masks, but I thought future wise, like if I want to start a business, I want to purchase a machine that's going to be able to pretty much do any project that, you know, that someone approaches me with, or something that I come up with, you know, and that's pretty much what I did. So that machine, I mean, it can pretty much do any project, you know. So that's something to consider. Maybe not everybody's ready for that, but you should consider that though.
Yeah. And then also, can you let me see, what is your favorite function of your machine?
There's two. I was thinking about that question. I was like, there's actually two. I really like the laser alignment tool. And it's not just having a laser. What it does is you don't have to hoop like your material or your t-shirt or whatever you're embroidering. You don't have to hoop it properly, like in the hoop. I know like a lot of people, when you're hooping, you tend to use like these little points and try to straighten them in these little points in the hoop. But with the laser alignment, I mean, you can hoop it crooked if you want, but you draw your two little points on your fabric when it's in here or when it's out, and it will, like, say if I want to, I'm here and I want to center this exactly where it's at. I just draw like 2 points on both sides, and what the laser alignment will do, it'll center it exactly in that area. So yeah, it'll center it. Like if I'm doing a t-shirt here, I'm not going to go all the way down because this has a curse word. I just put it like a dot here and here, and it will, you put the program, the little dots in the machine, and it'll align it perfectly centered in there. So you don't actually have to hoop it in the hoop like straight. The other one that I do like, and I think this is a benefit of the separate PC. I think this is why they did that, is where like I like being able to use the internet with my editing software and then sending that directly to the machine. So like, you know, like my digitizer, he sends me my file, and then I go on Messenger, I download it, pops right up on my software, and then I send it to the machine, and I can, you know, have that embroider right out. So I think those two things are tie for me.
Okay. Well, see, I have a laser on mine, but you know what's funny? Remember, I had mentioned the Melco, that was one of the things that I really didn't like about the Melco, was that you had to buy a whole separate computer for that.
Yeah. Yes, you do. You do have to, if you already have a Windows, like a laptop, or you can't use like a Chromebook or like a tablet. But if you have a Windows computer or a laptop, you should be able to use your machine on that if you already have an existing one. I bought mine secondhand from somebody. It works good. The thing I also like about that is I was wanting to buy a big, like my Mac has a big screen, so I wanted to buy a big screen, so when I'm working on that with a touch screen, I can use that too. Like, you know, I'm thinking about that. I don't know. But you do actually ended up liking the fact, because all my embroidery is there. Like I have my embrilliance there in my computer, my design shop, and then my Melco software, and then the internet, and I use all of that. You know, if I need to go somewhere, I take it with me, and I do my, you know, I actually ended up liking the system. It's just personal preference.
Oh, okay. Was it a huge like learning curve for you?
No, well, Design Shop, I have Embrilliance and Design Shop, and I have both of them at the very just basic level, pretty much both of them. But Design Shop on Melco's system is a lot more um, thorough, I guess. It's not as basic as like in Brilliance. There's a lot more that goes into the even basic editing in there that I still need to learn. So, but the learning curve is not that big with the software, the design software. I don't think so. If you're like coming from in Brilliance, a little bit, but not too bad.
Oh, okay. So you're still using it in Brilliance though, right?
Yeah, I still use Embrilliance because one of the features, and they just updated the software for the Design Shop. I think I mentioned that already. So one of the things that they don't do is they don't remove those hidden stitches, like Embrilliance automatically does that. Right. So I use Embrilliance a lot for that. I actually have Embrilliance on my Mac. So if I'm just wanting to do a layout of something, I'll sit here and I'll use Embrilliance if I want to do that, like if I'm sitting here at my desk. But I still do use Embrilliance sometimes.
I love Embrilliance. I have to admit, I do that software. I really love it because one of the things that I really like about Embrilliance is that it really is easy for me to make modifications to designs and take away stitches. Because sometimes you could buy a file, and what they do is they start stitching from the middle of the design, and they go to the out, to where it actually starts. The true.
Oh yeah, and you got that big old jump stitch.
Yeah, that's it. That big jump stitch. So what I like to do is every time I buy a design, I check to make sure that it doesn't have that center stitch. And if it does, then I'll go into Brilliance and I'll remove that. Because the way I look at it is, I mean, I know it's not a lot of thread, but I suffer from cheapism. You know what I mean? Any little bit of thread that I can.
You and me both.
I'm like, I don't need that junk, so I'll just like take it out and then I save it so that way it can actually. I think, and I think I heard. I was watching John Deere, and John Deere. For those of you guys that don't know, he's like the master of embroidery,
digitizer. Yeah,
master. His whole family has been in the embroidery business for years. I think his great grandparents were embroidering from back in the day and stuff. So he talked about the center point and the true point. And he considered the center point is when you have designs like I was talking about, where they start at the very center and then they move out to where the actual design starts to go.
Right.
He said the true point is where the design actually starts.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I like true.
I don't like those random stitches. Yeah, I don't really like those, but yeah.
It's kind of like I find them a lot in designs that I buy from embroiderydesigns.com.
Oh, okay.
I noticed that a lot of the designs that I buy from them, they always they have that center point to start. And that's where I'm kind of like, So every time, I mean, they got beautiful designs, but every time I buy from them, I always put it in Brilliance and I start the stitch simulator. And as soon as I see that there's that jump, then I just take that out.
Okay.
So, let's see what else we had questions. Let me see. Okay, supplies. Let's talk about supplies. Because a lot of people sometimes they don't know. It's like, and I think you kind of know in a way. Well, I'm sure all you guys knew when you got your single needles, okay, and you bought the machine, it wasn't just the machine, okay? After you bought the machine, then you had to buy the thread, then you had to buy the stabilizer. And if you guys have been watching me, you also see that there's like a bunch of other stuff that you get, like the magnetic hoop, like the position hoop. Then, you think about, you don't just want to use small combs anymore. Now you want to get into the big combs. So you go and you buy a thread stand. So, what ends up happening is you end up buying a whole bunch of supplies for your single needle. Well,
if you want to get into embroidery, just make sure something that you're gonna need probably is another job, like so that you can pay for all these supplies.
That's why I keep telling people, open up your Etsy shops, people, because you got to get this money back. You know,
It's expensive.
yes, put your stuff on Facebook, sell it. You know, at the same time while you're embroidering, you can make some money on the side to help pay for your thread, your stabilizer, your tender touch, and everything. So, I mean, but the same goes when you go into the world of the multi-needle. You know, it's like even when you have the stuff for the single needle, you have to buy extra stuff for the multi-needle. For example, the mighty hoops that we just were showing, those are $150 a pop.
Or more if you're buying the bigger ones. So
Yes.
200, yeah.
And we're talking about one hoop.
Yep.
So it's like,
I think this little one, I think this is one of the smaller ones. It's like 150. I think this is 150. This thing right here.
I got that smaller one with the hoop stand, the hoop master stand. You know, the stand that you use to
that's like how much is that?
That was like almost $600.
Yeah. No, that I haven't gotten there yet.
Well, I bought that when I was doing the 36 shirts for that flooring company, and I kept messing up all those shirts. I mean, I was like, I bought 36 shirts from Jiffy Shirts.
I remember
10 of them in the trash already because my shirts were not coming out right. And then I bought the hooping station, and then the hooping station, it really does work because the logo was in the same spot
all the time.
Yep, and I was able to use the mighty hoops, and I was able to hoop it correctly and everything. But I'm telling you, it's like if you think you're spending money on the single needle, you're gonna be spending money on the multi needle. So get your wallets ready because it's like
it's expensive. It's expensive. Yep.
And
I mean, you got to buy one needle for the single needle. You got to buy, I mean, I buy the packs of 100 needles, for mine. You got to buy more stabilizer. You got to, whatever you're buying for the single needle, you got to, I mean, triple what you're buying, really, honestly, just because the size of what you're using, all the needles. Yep.
And you have to change those needles, folks. Change those because
it makes
they get dull.
Yes.
The needles get dull. And when the needles get dull, what happens is when it's sewing on your fabric, it's going to make a bigger hole. So and your embroidery, believe me, you will see it. You will start to see
it. It will make bigger holes. Sometimes it'll make runs in your fabric. It'll snag your fabric. So you make sure you change those needles. Yep.
Yeah, you do. I mean, and believe me, I know the pain of sometimes changing the needles too, because like I said, cheapism, because every time I change the needles, I do look at them and I go, man, I could have done another hour, could I have done another hour? But you know what? Be safe, change those needles, because the moment you don't change those needles and then you put something expensive in your machine to embroider and then there's a snag, and it's all because you didn't change those needles, you're going to kick yourself. Because then you're going to be like, great, now that really cost me money.
A dull needle will damage your entire design. I've had it happen a few times. So
you were cheap too.
No, I was like, I am totally new to, well, not totally anymore, but then, now I kind of change my needles on the regular. So even just as a habit, yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I always changing my needles. And then let me see, what else did I have in here? Okay, we did cover hoops and frames, needles, the thread.
Oh, if you're using a multi-needle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is probably my most important supplies. It's a noise canceling because it gets loud.
It's true.
Before I start the machine, I am looking for these. I make sure they're charged. No, I cannot embroider without these right here. These are gold.
And don't let me get an order at 8 o'clock at night, because if I get an order in my Etsy shop at 8 o'clock at night, I be throwing on that sucker. And let me tell you, my husband and my son are like, really? Really?
Try to sleep.
Because I have the spare bedroom upstairs as my embroidery room. So
Okay.
my son's right next door, and then my husband's across, so they hear it. I mean, these machines are allowed. They are.
They
But
are.
some people put like mats underneath to try to, steady.
Right.
But it's still gonna make noise.
Yes.
It's probably just not. Maybe they can't hear it downstairs or something like that. I don't know. And stuff. But yeah. But I'm gonna go down the chat room and see if you guys have questions and stuff like that, and then me and Harmony can just like help you guys out. Man, I see we got a lot of folks on here and stuff. We got Tracy D, Cindy, Maria, Crafty, Margie. Hey, Mary Beth, Kenya. Hello, Christian. Hey, Nikki from Crafty's Life. And Nikki, if I remember correctly, Nikki had a racoma that she got rid of.
Red line.
Yeah. No, it was red line. That's right. She had a red line. That's right. She did. And she was not happy with that. And so, hey, Sylvia. Hey, Kathy. I see Lisa, Sarah. I see a lot of hellos. Hey, Miss Wade and Tracy, Christian. I see from Dallas is in the house. See Kathy. My cousin Leslie's on. I see. I had to get the family in there,
Of course.
Hey, Miss Brown. Love those threads I use and the 7511. Oh, she uses, okay, so she's using the 7 on the metallic and stuff, because I got the card, and the card in here said use a 9014. But you know what? As an experiment, I'll try the 7511 just to see, because you never know.
The needles that I use on my machine mainly are 7010 needles, like in between the 65 and the 75. I use them pretty much for everything except the metallic 7511 is what I use. If you can try, maybe I don't know, like I just think I don't want the hole to be so big. It might actually work better with that 990. What did they say?
Well, Miss Juanita, she says she's using a 7511.
Yeah, I use 7511 for metallics only too.
Oh,
yeah.
Then, you know what? Because I have a whole bunch, but I did order the ones that came in the little card.
So you should try it with both and see if there's a difference, like with the breakage and stuff like that, because you're going to get breakage, but if you don't, I'll be impressed. I'll be surprised.
But I'm going to videotape it, guys, and I'm going to do it from start to finish, no editing. So you guys may hear me curse a little bit and go, I can't believe it. But I'm prepared. Because I know, hey, Miss Smiles, you are on. Yep. And it was Miss Smiles that actually was the one that she was the one that first was talking to me about metallic thread, and I was like, I'm chicken. I'm not using that thread, girl. And she was like, yeah, that. But you pushed me, Harmony. So you got me to the challenge.
Yes,
do it.
We're gonna get you out, just like you came and got me out of my comfort zone with this live chat. We're gonna start getting you out of your comfort zone and start doing those little things too.
Say goodbye to Polly. Hello, Alex. But I will say, just looking at this thread, I could see why people really like this thread. I mean, it is really pretty. I mean, it's extremely shiny.
Mm-hmm.
I could really see that. Have you tried to do this on baseball hats?
I have not yet done a baseball hat at all. So I plan to very soon. Yes, I'm gonna do it.
Doing baseball hats.
Really? I got so swamped with masks and I really didn't have room to do anything else, but I've actually just kind of stopped taking. My mom got sick. She's good now, but she got sick for a while. So I stopped pretty much taking orders, but now I'm kind of I think I want to try the baseball hats now. So hopefully the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start doing that and I will let you know how that goes. But I do want to make those blingy metallic baseball hats, of course.
Oh, well, I will say the hardest part of making the baseball hats was figuring out how to actually properly hoop it.
Right.
And I did mess up a couple of hats, you know, but now I know exactly how to do it, and you can't rush it. You really have to put it the correct way. But now it's like, oh, I can pop them out. I'm popping them out. So now I'm like, I want a whole section of nothing but baseball hats in my Etsy shop now.
I do. Yeah. Eventually I want to get to that baseball for sure. Cause I know that's one of a big, people really enjoy their embroidered baseball hats.
Yep.
Have you tried puff baseball hats?
I saw a video from the Baby Booty. She did a puff. And but you know, you have to buy a whole separate embroidery file for puff.
Right. And the foam, the foam.
Yes, you gotta get the foam, because the thing is, you can't just use that on any embroidery. So you would probably have to buy like the alphabet for the puff.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, because you need longer stitches.
Right.
You know, to go over that foam.
Mm-hmm.
So I have not done that yet, you know, because no, I gotta take the baby steps and stuff. And I've been focusing a lot on doing the videos on the small machine, because I wanted people to really learn the small machine, because, you know, like I said, there was no videos out there. So I was like, okay, these folks are gonna be struggling. So I'm like, all right, I already been through it. I did through all the struggles and stuff, and I still make mistakes on those videos.
Oh, me too.
In there. Me
too.
Yeah, because I figured, you know, I mean, we all make them. I don't want nobody to think like, you know, like, oh,
even seasoned embroiderers still make mistakes. Embroidery is not like just some easy, you know, there's an art to it. So
yeah, and you're gonna, you know, sometimes I'll walk away from the machine and I didn't babysit it correctly, and you know, like the back of the shirt stitched to the front of the shirt, and I've done it all. So it's like, you know, so. Also, I see, and I see Patricia. Hey, oh, Robin, Viking stopped making their multi-needle machines. Oh, well, Robin, looks like you're going to have to look at another brand. May want to look at a Melco or a Brother. I mean, I can't tell you which one to look at, because I don't even know which one I'm going to get, you know, and stuff. Hey, Carol, how are you? I'm here late, but I'm here. I want to buy a Brother PRS 100, but it's so expensive. Carol, I'm telling you, when you are looking at other machines, they do. And machines get expensive. I mean, I will say, one thing for sure that I noticed, you walk into a sewing shop and you see these beautiful machines, and then when you ask the price, it's like you be falling out. You're like, are you serious? I mean, I've seen sewing machines like 10,000, 15, and you're talking about regular sewing machines.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like, what? Well, when I first saw like the embroidery machines that are single needle that are like $7,000, I was like, why? Like, I don't get what's going on there, where it's like a $7,000 machine, but
yeah, and see, and I'm gonna be honest, that's what made me look at the multi-needle.
Right.
Because to me, it got to the point, like, once the price of a single needle machine kind of like went, you know, head to head with the price of a multi-needle, I was like, I just couldn't justify spending the same amount for something, a capability that I already have on my SC1900.
Right. That's why I went to the commercial. The same reasoning, actually.
Yeah, because it's just like, you know, I could understand that some of these machines probably have a bigger hoop, but the thing is, so does the multi needles.
Right.
They have bigger hoops.
Have more needles.
More needles, and you don't have to be sitting there after every color change and changing it. Right. You know, you can every needle has its own color, and then once it's done, then you could just rethread them and stuff like that. So, you know, yeah, I mean, Carol, I tell you, I mean, sewing is expensive, and then it's not like the machine, like we were talking before. Then it's the supplies and stuff. So it's like, and most of them don't know what in the hoop wrote. Yeah, in the hoop. You know, I have a hard time with in the hoop projects. Have you done that? Nikki's mentioning that in the chat. In the hoop is where you can create.
I know what it is, but I really haven't. The only thing, a lot of my masks are in the hoop, but no, like I haven't done like a in the hoop project. Like I
don't like it. because what happens is you buy the file.
Okay.
And you print out the directions, and there's so many steps in that direction. I get so confused. Okay, I even bought an in the hoop face mask file, and they're all jacked up. All my face masks are all jacked up. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to stick to my old way, where I just cut the fabric by hand and I sew it, because I know it works. But the in the hoop, I couldn't do it. I
learned my own. My masks are like semi in the hoop, but I learned my own. I draw my own patterns. I learned my own way. Like I figured it out. So yeah. Like that's the only thing that's, I guess, somewhat in the hoop project that I do. But those other ones, you should go to the ones that have a YouTube video, so you can, like, you don't have to read. You can see them doing it.
I have to try those and stuff, because and then I felt bad because there was one girl, and I changed my review too. I bought an in the hoop project from her, and it was making an ID, right? And then it didn't come out. And I was like, man, did you sell me like a jacked up file or something? I mean, this thing don't work, and I will tell you, the lady was so nice though, because she was like, okay, you're new. And then she took me through the whole thing. But then when I saw how many steps, I was like,
never mind.
This is for me. I was like, you know what? I don't need an ID holder anymore. I'll put it in my hand. And when I go to work, they say, where's your ID? Here it is. I was like, here you go. I'm like, oh my God. It was like too many steps. Had to read all the directions and stuff. I was getting flustered. I was like, oh, I hate this thing. But I'm sure they are easy if you know how to read those instructions and really do it well. But I think Miss Miles has done some in the hoop, some gorgeous ones with the sneaker. It's like a little zip pouch with a sneaker on it. She's done.
Oh, is that her that does those? I've seen that.
Yep.
Those are really cool. Those are actually really cool.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, but Miss Miles is pretty good. Let me tell you, she's just taking off with that machine. She really has. Let me see. Hey, Cheryl. Okay, I see. I went to the sewing shop and had embroidery machines. Yesterday and saw the brother machines in person. Can't wait to get a multi-needle one day. Ladybug, I'm telling you, multi-needle is gonna be. It's fun. I will say, I do love the multi-needle machine. And so, because I remember somebody was asking me too. They asked me, I love it. I just wish I did have more needles. That's all. And the one I picked was the 6 needle. So I'm gonna be honest. If you could afford to go more than 6, I would say go for it. Me, it was just that's the lady couldn't really tell me the functionality, so I was just like, what am I paying $5,000 extra for?
Right. And then when you get it, you finally realize, like, you're like, wait a minute, maybe I should have, but because you don't have all the information then, or you are not into embroidery to like really understand at that point.
Yeah. But the 6 works. And then this is the other thing too. Sometimes you have moments where you have so many orders, your machine is nonstop. But then you have other times, like right now, you can see she's sleeping.
Nana's sleeping. Yep.
Yeah, so they're sleeping. So to me, it's kind of like, okay, can I stay with just 6 needles, or should I really upgrade? Does it make financial sense to upgrade? So I'm still toying with the idea. I'm still toying with it. And and to change the thread really doesn't take that long. It's just cut it, knot it, and pull it. It's not that bad. So I can live with it. Now, the thing is, when I have designs that are like 10 color changes, 12, then that's like, whoa.
Yep.
I have a problem with that. And you know what I do to cheat? I'll change up those colors.
What?
I'll change them up. I can make a design go from 12 color changes to 7. Okay. I'll be like, you really don't need all these extra light colors in there. I will change up the colors and stuff just so I can have less color changes. So I will change that up. So I'm like, But if I had a bigger one, then I wouldn't be bothered with that because it's just gonna run through.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, let's see what else we got. What else we got? You guys put your questions in there. You guys got us for the night. Let me see. Hey Jeanette. Hey Tracy. Hey Patty. Patty's there. Harmony, love your queen bee design. Lucky Lucy.
Thank you.
I love that. I have to embroider more shirts for myself. Now it's like you want to make your own clothes, you know?
I haven't been doing much of that, but I need to embroider more. I keep looking at the camera and I'm like on the opposite side, but I need to embroider more clothing, more shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's see. I had the repair guy told me to get a rack case, a junk. I'm a brother person and a tech person is awesome. And I have 2 brother machines and I've never had any issues. Yeah, and I don't have any issues with my brother machines either. I mean, I'm not gonna, I cannot say that, the brother machine that I have has given me issues. I really cannot say it. I mean, it has been very easy to use. I bought it, I've had it now for a year. I just have to take it in for the regular servicing, and it's not because I have an issue with it. So yeah, I mean, Brother is a good brand. The only thing is that their multi-needle machines only go up to 10 needles. And I want to go past the 10 needles if I can. That's the only thing. Now, if Brother comes up with a 15 needle, I might look at it. I wouldn't mind looking at it, but they go up to 10. Hey, Nikki, and you have to diagnose the problem in the first place. Yeah, because she had the red line.
Eve has the red line too, and it seems like she enjoys her red line. So I don't know. I don't have obviously I don't have that machine, so I don't have an opinion about red line. I really haven't seen I think Nikki's the only one that I've seen that really had an issue. I've not done too much research, but I know Eve really enjoys hers. So I don't know what happened there.
Right. If I remember correctly, and Nikki, you could write it if we're wrong and stuff. I believe she bought hers new. I think Nikki, when I was watching her videos and stuff, she mentioned that she was having issues with support too.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And then you got to remember too, though, this is the thing too, Harmony, that sometimes concerns me is sometimes when you see like a YouTuber and they have their multi-needle machines, a lot of times they get like commission or something.
Oh yes.
They have a contract with that company. So of course the company's gonna make sure that their machine always works.
Right. I don't. Melco doesn't.
Right. Yeah. I don't have one with Brother. I don't have one with Brother. Okay. I had to pay for mine. Okay.
I'm already telling you about my experience and my thing is my thing, even if I do say Melco's good, go look at other machines too. I think if I didn't really pay attention to too much to ZSK, but I'm that machine company has piqued my interest. Taijima, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Taijima is the one that was in the store that I went to last.
Oh, Taijima, they have, I think from what I know, I could be wrong, they have a pretty good reputation. And then Barudan, I don't know how to pronounce the name, Barudan. That's another one. I wish that I would have looked a little closely at those 3. I know those are really, they got really great reputations. So that's the only thing, but I'm pretty satisfied with my Melco, but at the same time, there are other machines too that are also are worth giving a look at.
Yeah. I know the Taishima, the one that they had in the store, I actually asked the guy about the machine and he said he loves it. And what they do is they sell the baseball hats and they embroider them for the folks right there in the mall.
Right.
I actually saw the machine in action and it was really, really good.
No, yeah, those ones,
the hat driver.
those ones, the Tajima and the Baridan, those like actually like are some of the, from what I hear, like the top machines for like ball caps.
Yeah. So he had the hat drivers on there and stuff, and I was watching him make those hats, and it was doing a really, really, really good job. I was really shocked. Okay, does Melco only uses Windows operating system? Answer is yes, right?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, I don't think they go on a Mac and stuff, so you would have to get a.
I'm a Mac girl too. I really like my Mac, and it doesn't go on my Mac. So
yeah. Now I think you could partition your Mac to run Windows.
Right, you can do that. I didn't want to do that. Like you can get something like Parallels that like runs the Windows operating system on the Mac, and you can do it that way if you want. That is an option. I chose not to do that. I just went and got me a secondhand laptop, and I like having a separate, computer just for all my embroidery, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, and I probably would do the same thing. I don't like putting too much stuff on my Mac. I don't know.
And embroidery files, like you start to really, really collect, especially if you start having a business. Yeah. So.
And you get so many.
Yes.
Stuff. So it's like, oh.
You probably will need to get to the point where you buy a separate little hard drive for it. Honestly.
Just to save all your embroidery files.
Yep.
So, you see, I remember Angela had a Windows laptop because it didn't work on her Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's sponsored by Macoma. She makes money off the Macoma machines, I believe. I think she they pay her to advertise those machines.
Yeah.
Because she even says she makes commissions off those machines. That's why it's like, to me, I prefer to get the opinion of somebody that ain't making no money off it. because I mean, you don't know,
Right.
You don't know. I mean, and then if you watch, there's a video by that guy Matt, Never Deny Me.
Oh yes.
And he talked about the contracts that these companies.
Oh, yes. I saw that. He went into detail. Yeah.
Right. And what happens is they will not, you can't talk bad about the machine.
Right.
Because if they can sue you.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know what kind of contract some of these companies have with some of these YouTubers. So that's why, to me, I'm like, I want to talk to somebody, like I said, that doesn't get a dollar out of it. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't know. You just don't, you don't know. Not saying that people aren't honest, but you just don't know. I don't know them, So, and it's your money, and it's a lot of money. So you want to make the right decision for yourself.
Yeah. Someone asked, like, how often do you change your needles? Me, I do every 2 weeks. I change all of my needles, all 16 of them. But it really just depends. Sometimes your needle will let you know when it starts ruining your design that it needs to be changed. But
you'll hear it knocking.
Yeah.
It hears like a knocking sound.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb is usually every 8 hours.
I change mine every 2 weeks, all of them. So I don't know. Maybe I should change them more often than that. But
they said well, that's what they told me, the sewing shop.
Yeah, that's probably a lot more accurate.
Yeah, I read every 8 hours of sewing, you should change your needles, because then they become dull and stuff. And let me see. I have tons of blank shirts, and I haven't an HTV or anything for myself either. Let's see, yes, it was new. I haven't. Oh, Nikki said, yep, she bought her red line new. She did an unboxing video of the red line. So we got to check that out. And so it just didn't work for her, so. And I know she's not sponsored by it. And I don't know if Eve is sponsored by that either.
I don't know if she is. I'm not sure. But she seems to run it fine. Like, I mean, everybody's going to have a different situation. Yeah.
And Nikki could have got a bad machine too. You never know.
That could definitely be it.
Yeah. Oh, then there's someone here, Trisha. I've had a red line for 9 months. Hubby and I bought it because it was what we could afford. Haven't had a problem with it, and I haven't had to contact customer support for help. See, so I mean, and that's the other thing too. Everybody's experience is a little different, you know.
Like somebody can get a Melco and think, I mean, just think it's complete trash. So,
right, it's just and see, that's the other thing too. Is to me, I think when it's time for me to make that next step, I probably will be looking for someone that has the machine that I'm interested in, and I'll probably be like, hey, can I visit? You know,
you come visit me, Jeanette.
That's it. I'll be like, okay, where are you, Harmony? I'm getting on a bus right now, you know, because I want to see that baby run, you know.
You come embroider some stuff on it, whatever.
I'm like, I just want to really, you know, because to me that's important, you know. It's like I really want to see the machine and stuff like that, and I know I'm not going to find it in a sewing shop, which is why when I went to the mall and they were like, oh, they have an embroidery machine right there. I mean, I literally was skipping all the way over there to Liz so that I could see. And then and I thought it was going to be like a Melco or Wacom or Redline. What are the ones that we usually hear about? And it was a whole totally different one. And I was like, oh man, I was like, okay, another one to explore, you know, another one on the list.
Someone asked what Cindy, hi Cindy. She asked what format does Melco use. They pretty much use any format. You can use PES, EXP, really anything.
Yeah, brother is just PES.
Right.
Yeah, brother is PS, and I think my girlfriend Robin has a Viking, and I think hers is a HUS.
Yes, and it takes those files as well. Mostly any file, I think.
Yeah. Let me see. Let's see. Any other questions out there?
Look, I see one. Who do you both use for digitizing? Who do you recommend? I have a few digitizers that I like. My favorite one, my main one I use, because we have a better working relationship actually. His name's Sebastian. He's always busy all the time. So if you want to wait for him, you know, you can wait for him. But I have these.
Fine.
Huh? Yeah, he did that. He did hers. These are two people that these are their names on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure they'll be happy for the shout out. But they do pretty good work here. So these are two guys that I use as well. Sebastian is the other one. Sebastian Molina.
He did mine. He did a really good job.
Oh yeah, Sebastian did hers. Yeah. He
did a really, really good job. And so I want to reach out to him just to say thank you. Because I mean, I was just like, I'm telling you, this thing took away my breath. I was like,
oh yeah, he did that, and then okay, so I sewed it out, and I didn't like it. Like I'm usually really confident in his work, and usually if I sew it out, I'll just sew it out already, like the first. Usually, sometimes it doesn't, but I sewed it out, and I was just like, what is this? Like, you know what? I was just like, no. I sent it back to him, like the picture of it, and I started telling him, you need to fix this and this and this, and then, but he had already was on it, so he sent it back to me like 20 minutes later, all like fixed. I was like, okay, good. Like,
oh, he did a great job. He did. Now I want to embroider it on my jacket.
I was going to ask him if I can get a couple of more files that are just resized, just so you can have a little bit bigger.
Oh, that would be great. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
That would be so cool. And so let me see. What other questions we got out there? Let me see. I'm having trouble with my SC1900 tension. The bobbin shows on the top. Tried loosening the top tension, but then it's too loose. Any tips? Hey, Cindy. Yes, you could probably, what you probably need to do is adjust the tension in your bobbin. I have a video on the YouTube channel about that, and it talks about the top tension and the bottom tension. So look at that video. That will help, because sometimes you just have to tighten the bobbin just a little bit and stuff. So sometimes that helps. That was something that I learned from the guy when he was fixing the tension on my multi-needle, because I kind of threw it off. You know, they told me don't touch the knobs And what does Jeanette do? She touches the knob. So, you know, I touched the knob so the tension's off. And the guy was kind of like, really, Jeanette? And I'm like, well, you know me. Tell me not to do something, I'm gonna do it, you know?
Cool. Yeah.
Curiosity and stuff. So I hope that helps, Cindy. If not, just post it on our Facebook group and you know, we will help you out. No worries there. We'll get you going.
I see who was asking, was it Tracy and Sandoris? Miss Miles, you said, right? We're asking about digitizing. She got Embrilliance, and hold on, let me find that question. But I would like to do some digitizing some of my designs. Digitizing is actually, you know, I guess everybody learns at a different pace, but like my friend Sebastian, he's been digitizing since he was 16. I don't think it's something that you can learn like right away. It's kind of difficult, and digitizing in itself is another art form. You know, that's why it's very important to have a good digitizer and to like some of these files that you buy online, they're not good, you know, but I would not discourage. Definitely, if you're into digitizing, you know, like just invest some time in it. Know that it's going to take a little while to, you know, get good at it. Yeah.
Right. I know John Deere offers courses in digitizing, and he's really, really good. And I did sign up for one of his classes. And then if you want to do digitizing using Embrilliance, you have to buy the Stitch Artist. The Stitch Artist modules. Now I actually got all the modules of Embrilliance, but I'm gonna be honest. I tried to do the digitizing. I'm a mess. Okay, so you know it will never look like it's supposed to. Okay? So I kind of gave up on it a little bit, or let's say I'm taking a break because I still want to learn. Because I think it's good to just learn the basics.
Right. I agree with that, definitely. The thing, I think it's good to know the basics. Like you said, you need to make some editing or whatever. But I think as far as like if you're going to do embroidery, it might be cheaper to outsource that job. Like, because it's time consuming. It is very time consuming. So I think for me, if I were like you, I'd only want to learn the basics. Everybody, you know, whatever you want to learn, whatever you're into, go for it. But yeah, that job, I think I'll probably stay outsourcing that job.
Now, if you want to get into it, though, that's a money maker too.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Especially if you're good.
Yes.
That's a money maker.
Yes.
You will always find work.
Oh, yes.
For sure. Because people like to get their logos digitized, that kind of stuff and everything. So it's, I mean, that's a good money maker if you're really into it. But you really gotta love digitizing.
I get a lot of my work digitized just because it's like you can pretty much almost guarantee the quality like of the, you know, the stitch, and then you get comfortable with your group of digitizers, so you're like, you know, the job's going to get done right, and if it doesn't, then you can take it back and say, hey, you know what, can you fix this? And they'll fix it, like no problem.
But you got to make sure you find a good digitizer too.
Right.
Remember at one time I needed to get a logo digitized, and you know, I mean, well, you know, you get what you paid for. You know, it was like $7, and then I gave him the $7, and then, you know, I mean, the poor guy tried, but it wasn't cutting it, you know. And then he was like, well, if you pay more money, I'm like, I'm not paying no more money, you know, because I just saw that as throwing more bad money after that, you know. So I was just like, thanks for trying. Don't worry about it. Keep the money, because
right.
It was your time, you know, and you tried it, you know, and stuff. So I was just like,
and you move on to someone else.
Exactly, just move on. But you know, it's like, and that's the other thing too. Also, if you're selling stuff and somebody asks for something to be embroidered, make sure you cover that digitizing costs in your price.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. I always, if someone wants something specific, some type of logo, some type of picture, whatever, I always let them know this has to be digitized. And I will, like, usually I'll communicate through email or through Messenger with my digitizers. I'll send them a screenshot of the price that the digitizer quoted me. And I'll, obviously they have to pay that on top of my fee, like for what I'm doing. So,
Right.
and most people are okay with that. Some people are, you know, like you said in your last video, they do try to undercut you because they don't understand, you know, they just, but
they don't understand the amount of work that it takes. They think that it's just take the file, scan it in, and automatically an embroidery file just appears.
Like you just get the picture, they send you a picture in their phone and you put it in your machine somehow and it just comes out magically. Like,
and it doesn't work that way. Somebody's actually designing something
right.
from scratch, and they have to actually draw out every single stitch for that machine. And people really don't understand that. It's like, you know, it's a concept that they don't grasp because they don't know embroidery, you know? No. So, let me see. Is there any other questions out there? Oh man, we're past. Oh, we're going on 9:30. Oh man, this is long.
Should we be wrapping this up?
Yep, I'm gonna wrap this up and stuff, but I want to make sure I grabbed everybody's questions and stuff.
I got time. Don't worry about it.
Post the names of your digitizer. Yes, we can post them on the Facebook group. We will definitely do that. Let's see. Have a question. I have a PE 800 and it keeps giving an error. Check the upper thread and try again. I fixed it and it continues. It feels like it's tension thing and I can't figure it out on how to fix the tension. Okay. Hey, Narrow, I do have a video on fixing the tension, and it's probably your bobbin. And I also saw there was someone that said something about their machine. They keep you know, sewing and they run out of bobbin thread. There is a bobbin sensor in there and stuff. So now I really recommend that you check out that video that I have on the tension, because that's probably something that will help you out with that. Let me see. I think we covered everybody. I think we got it. We did it.
Did we do it?
We did it. We're at the end of our embroidery happy hour. Yay! Okay.
I made it, guys.
This is like so awesome, guys. I appreciate so much all the support and stuff. This is like so awesome. This is the first time that I'm using software called StreamYard, and it's like so cool. So guys, you know, Harmony, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
This was fun. I liked it. I really liked it and stuff. And guys, thank you so much for all your questions and your support and everything. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and join our Facebook group, which is Embroidery Happy Hour Adventures. We're here to help, ask away the questions. I mean, even if we don't know the answers, we'll learn together. I mean, hey, we're all in this game, you know? I mean, you know, it's fun. I mean, embroidery is fun. So I really, you know, hope you guys enjoyed today's video and stuff. And you guys have a great night. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully the weather's great, because I know the weather's really good here. So, so you guys have a great night. And Harmony, thank you so much. Love you. And thank you so much for my mask. I will always treasure this. It's my favorite and stuff.
Well, thank you. You're out here helping all these people, including me. So you're so nice to me for some reason. So I was like, let me do something nice to her for her.
I really appreciate it and stuff. I mean, and I'm just so glad that the videos that I've been posting have been really helping people and stuff. And, you know, I mean, like I said, I don't know everything, but what I do know, I have no problem sharing, and I have no problem learning with you guys. Right. And, you know, so if you guys have questions and want to see videos on a particular topic or something, just let me know, and I'll explore it. And I'm going to take Harmony on her challenge, because I'm going to be getting my threads tomorrow. So I am going to videotape me doing these metallic threads, and I'm going to take the plunge. And
hit me up if you need some help. Reach out.
I will. All right. So you guys have a great evening and stuff. And I really enjoyed this happy hour. So I hope you guys liked it too. Love you guys all. Take care. Happy sewing. Happy embroidery. Bye.